I'll go back to my senior year of college. I turned 5,000 a million, lost 500 grand, and I put 400 in the bank and I traded with 100. And putting
Yeah.
400 in the bank was like the instant, like, hey, if I don't see a trade today, I'm not going to take it. And that gave me the comfort, and that comfort has continued to grow for the last 20 years. Putting in, like you said, I have a lot of alternative investments, that just continue to grow. I'm very fortunate with that. I could have compounded my accounts. Maybe I'd have more today, but I don't think I would. I don't think I would have slept nearly as well the last 20 years. So, yeah, I mean, when you can come into the market every single day with a free and clear mind, you're going to trade better. And I think not, you hit the nail on the head. You don't want to feel forced to trade. You don't want to feel forced to make money because you're going to do things that don't fit your plan. And that's the thing. I think traders, again, we need to have a plan. This is what I do. This is how I make money. This is how I succeed. And you need to just stick with that plan. And when you deviate from that plan because maybe your mind isn't right, your thought process isn't right, that's where you're gonna make mistakes. It's common. I've done it many times over my career.
Excellent. Well, Phil, this has been really amazing. It's so awesome to get to learn from your experience. Just one last question for you. What advice do you have for traders earlier in their journey? Maybe a few years in, they're trying to still develop their style. They're trying to figure things out. Master risk management. Learn how much to position size, all of that. What advice would you have to kind of point them in the right direction? Obviously, everybody, someone might be trading a different style than you, but what kind of advice or motivational, words can you offer them to help support them in their journey?
I think, new traders have to realize that most traders I've talked to, including myself, have to go through pain. And, I went through a lot of pain, or paying your tuition, whatever you want to say, for several years before they can get to be profitable. So that's part of the game. I mean, you can't get down. You can't have false expectations. Don't have expectations that, you can blindly follow some people or just have a mentor, and all of a sudden now you're going to be profitable, and now you've learned it. Now you get it. I mean, there's nothing that can replace experience. There's nothing that can replace time in front of the screens. There's nothing that can replace real trading, real experience. And again, that's going to be number one, putting in the time. I don't know of a shortcut other than putting in the time, putting in the experience. And number two is, it's so important to analyze your trades, look at your trades. Look at where you're making money. Look at where you're losing money. Look at what time of the day you're making money. Look at what time of the day your biggest losses happen. Study your biggest losses. Know what did you do the night before? Did you drink too much? Did you go to bed too late? Did you have some event happen in your life? Maybe a death of a loved one, or whatever that might be, where you say, "Wow, I didn't trade that well that day because I did this or this or this," and take